Alright, in this example we're going to look at the worksheet, find the equation of a line given a table or points on the line. So basically we have here 4 examples. So these are tables, and sometimes we see tables that have more than 2 sets of points. So basically this is x and y. So this is a point here. So you can write that point as 0, 5. So the way we read that table is that when x equals 0, y equals 5, and your other point is 3, 14. Now you can have a table of values that can go forever, but you only need 2 points. So we're just limited to 2 here, which is fine. If you had a larger table, then you would just choose 2 points, okay, because you don't need any more than them. Now remember, and I might do this in a different color, that the equation of a straight line is y equals mx plus c. So m is what we call the gradient, and c is your y-intercept. Okay, so on the equation y equals mx plus c, you should know that the number in front of the x is your gradient, and the number by itself is your y-intercept. Alright, so let's go over here and first of all calculate the gradient. So I'm just going to write m because we use m to signify the gradient. Now the formula for the gradient is the difference in your y values. We say that's y2 minus y1 over the difference in your x values. So that's basically rise over run. So this is the difference we're going up. I shouldn't do that because I've got it on the screen. Up, and the difference we're going across. Now, it's some people, when they start doing the gradient, and you did do the gradient prior to year 10, do write x1, y1 underneath the points. And I know I've got other writing there too. Whoops, that should be a 2. x2, y2. You can write that so you know which one's which, but because you've done this before, you probably won't be doing that. Okay, so y2 is 14, so I'm going to write just equals 14. y1 I wrote is 5 over x2, which is 3, minus x1, which is 0. So 4 minus 5 is 9, 3 minus 0 is 3, so 9 divided by 3 is 3. So it means the gradient is 3. The second part, and I might just rub this out because it's a bit hard to see here, is finding the y-intercept. Now I know the y-intercept is when x is equal to 0, so I can read straight from this table that the y-intercept is 5. But let's just say you didn't remember that. Okay, so let's write here in red, again, the equation of a straight line. And the reason I'm doing this is because the other 3 examples you will need to do this way as well. So y equals mx plus c. And the other colours. Alright, so in this equation we have x and y. Now x and y can be any point on the line. So we've got 2 points, so I can substitute in either 0, 5 or I can substitute in 3, 14. I'm going to choose 0, 5 just because it's easier. So that means y is 5. Okay, that's because I've got the y coordinate here. M we calculated before is 3. And x on this set of points is 0 plus c. Now the purpose of doing this is to find the value of c, which is your y-intercept. So I'm going to do that. 3 times 0 is 0 plus c. Therefore, c is equal to 5, like I said before. So you didn't need to do that because on the table it says x equals 0, y equals 5. But if you're unsure, you can do it this way as well. All right, I'm going to go back to, let's use black this time. So my final answer, so any equation of a straight line is written as y equals your gradient, which we calculated to be 3, which is here, 3x plus 5. And because we've done a bit of working out, let's just put a square around our final answer. And that just helps whoever is marking your work, and I'm not just saying this for my own benefit. When you go into VCE and you have external people marking your work, they actually get paid basically per question. So if you've got your answer there, they're going to be very happy marking your work. But that's another thing that you don't really have to worry about in year 10. Let's go on to the next question. So question B. Let's write the first points. Now, you can pause at any stage if you want to do any part yourself, but I'm going to write exactly what I did before, do the whole question. So 4, -4 is 1 point, and 6, -8 is another point. Now we go ahead and calculate the value of m, which is our gradient. So I take this -8 minus this -4 divided by, oh, that's a terrible line. Let's maybe do that one again. Okay, 6 minus 4. So we do the difference in our y's and then the x's. Now, you would have noticed that I had 2 negative signs there. So remember, 2 negatives become a positive. So I now have -8, and I'm going to write it again anyway, -8 plus 4 over 6 minus 4, which is 2. -8 plus 4 is -4 over 2. Now, if at any stage you need to use a calculator, that's fine. You don't have to do all of this by hand, and that is equal to -2. So my gradient is -2. So I might just circle that so it doesn't get lost. Okay, now like we did before, we need to find the y-intercept because the equation of the straight line is y equals mx plus c. Remember, x and y can be taken from either point. So I can use 4, -4, or I can use 6, -8. I'm just going to use 4, -4, just because basically you'll get the same answer. 4 times -2 plus c. You'll just see I actually wrote the m and the x around the other way. It doesn't make any difference. So I'm sorry if I confused you there. -8, as long as you've got -8 there, it's fine. All right, so to cancel out that -8, we add 8 to this side. So that is equal to 4. So c is equal to 4. And I'll circle that so we don't get confused. All right, so remember your equation is in the form y equals mx plus c. I have now found m and I have found c. So I substitute them in. Y equals, -2x, that's our gradient, plus 4. Now, if you want, and I doubt anyone will probably do this, you can actually check your answer. So let's go back. Instead of choosing 4 and -4, let's choose 6, -8. So I'm going to substitute in this 6 to see if the equation is equal to 8. So let's just go here and we'll check. You don't have to do this, but if you're in a test and you have a bit of time left over, you can always check your answer. All right, so let's let x equal 6. So we're substituting it into our equation, -2 times 6 plus 4. Okay, so instead of x here, I've now got 6. -2 times 6 is 12. Sorry, -12 plus 4. And that is equal to -8. Is that correct? Let's check on our table. Yes, it is. Therefore, give ourselves a big tick. All right, so go ahead and do C and D. I'm going to show you another method. There's no reason why you can't keep doing the method I've just shown you, but there is another way you can do it. So let's just quickly calculate our gradient because the gradient part is easy. Whoops, let's get rid of that. Accidentally wrote -2, it should be -1. So I'm just writing these points down and then 3, 0. Okay, so let's calculate the gradient. M equals 0 minus -2 over 3 minus -1. So this is +2, this is 4, so it becomes a half. Okay, so our gradient in this case is a half. Now the other method of getting the equation, and some of you may have seen this, I don't know whether your teacher taught it to you last year. I know some people go to an external tutor, so you may have seen this equation. And I often like this one because the finished product is the equation. It doesn't require you to do any other substitution. And you've got x1 and y1 here, so it kind of already sets it up if you've labelled this as x1 and y1. You can also use 3, 0, and in this case I would probably use 3, 0 just because the 0 is easier to deal with, but I'm going to use x1, y1 just because I've already labelled it. Okay, so I've got y minus, put in the the y1, which is -2. The gradient is a half, and then x, and then your x1 is -1. So let's just tidy that up because we got some negatives in there. Oh, yeah, no, that's fine. X plus 1. Okay, let's expand this over this side. Just leave that 2 there for now. So we have a half x plus a half. And then bring that 2 over by taking it away. So we take it away over here. So we have y equals a half x. Half minus 2 is -1.5. Okay, so that's another method you can do it. Another way you can do it. I like it because your final answer is an equation. You don't have to go back and substitute in M and C, but it's a personal preference. So have a go at doing D. I might pause it and quickly see what the answer is because I know the answer is not on the sheet, and I'll give you the answer, but you choose which method suits you. You can try this method if you like, or in class if you want me to show you it, it's fine. I'll show you how to do it, but it's a personal preference. You can use either method. All right, I'll pause and find out the answer to D. All right, so I've just done the working out. There is the gradient of -2, and I did it the same way I did question C in case you did it that way and wanted to check your working. This is the correct answer because I did a quick check by substituting in a point. So you should get y equals -2x minus 2. Okay, so good luck with that. And if you'd want some more practice, let me know, but there is practice on your homework sheet, so that's probably enough for you to do for revision.